So, on today's episode of This Old Jeep, I am going to replace the little filter screen on my Wrangler because for the washer fluid reservoir, if you fill it, the fluid just leaks right out, which is not cool. And obviously we're going into winter, so you kind of need the washer fluid. The part that I'm going to be using is actually this part right here. It's a tiny little screen. It's actually a BMW part, but the internet says this one is better than the factory Mopar one because it's rubber for the boot as opposed to plastic, which shrinks and cracks. So I'm going to disconnect the battery. Unfortunately, to get to the area where the little pump is, it's below all the cables for the PCM right here. So I have to disconnect those cables because there's absolutely zero room to work. So we're gonna do that, and then I'll show you how to do it. Hopefully all goes well.
Safety tip: whenever you're disconnecting the battery, you always want to disconnect the negative terminal first. Why do you do this? Because the negative terminal is grounded to the chassis of the vehicle, and if you were to accidentally disconnect the positive terminal and then touch the chassis of the vehicle, you could cause an arc and you could get a nasty shock, and we don't want that. So I'm going to take the negative terminal off here. All right, battery is disconnected. I'm not going to kind of stuff it under here and keep it away from the terminal. All right, that should be good. Okay, I've already loosened the red tabs on the top of the PCM cables. The portion that I need to get to for this is the water or the washer fluid reservoir right here, and that pump is down below. These wires are very packed in here tightly. I cannot get access to disconnect the cable for the washer fluid reservoir, so I'm going to pull all these off gently one by one. If they're going to come off or not, let's see. They've been on there since 2007.
A few moments later.
Okay, so it's a two-step process, and I'm only gonna have to take this end one off. That should give me enough access. So you're gonna pull back that red tab, and then you're gonna push down, and that releases the cable. So that should give me enough access to get down to the pump there that you can see. So I'm gonna pull this guy off and kind of set it aside, and then I'll show you the next step here. I just took a very short bungee cord, very loosely, just suspended the harness away so I can get access to the pump, which is right here. So I just need to take this off and get access to this cable to pop this up. So that's the next step, so you can see it right there. Okay, so I've taken the connector off, and then the pump is right here. So it looks like there's just a little small indent that kind of keeps it lined up, but I think there's a separation there. You can see it right at the edge, so I think this just pulls out. Yep, sure does. All right, so with that out of the way, I can get access to our pump, and there is the culprit. You can see the filter screen there, so I'm going to pull that off, and then we'll put the new one on. Okay, so we've got the pump off here. It's still connected to the two lines. One goes to the front wiper washer, and then the other one goes to the rear for the rear window. So this, oops, we'll just pull off of here. Yep, just like that. Okay, so old one and the new one, which this is plastic, that yellow one. This one has a more flexible rubber boot, which should be better for temperature fluctuations. So we'll just slide the new one on there. Nice and snug. All right, easy enough. And then you can see that hole down below there is where this needs to just be pushed back into. So we're gonna line it up. That pin on the top needs to snap in right there. I could have never done this without the connector in place, so that definitely had to be removed. So we'll put it down in the hole there, snap it back into place. All right, and then we'll reconnect our connector for the pump. Okay. All right, so we're back in place there. All right, now I just have to reconnect the cable to the PCM. I might as well push these guys back in because I don't need to take off that far right one. And then we'll fill it with washer fluid and hopefully no leaks. All right, the PCM is buttoned all up. I'm gonna go reconnect the battery and we will fill it with washer fluid. I was also in the middle of doing an oil change while I was doing this too, so that's what, you know, that is over there. So let me grab a funnel here and let's fill this up and hopefully we have no leaks. So this thing's been leaking for a long time and I have just been filling it just enough that it won't leak out. So hopefully this will do the trick. I'll know really quickly because usually within like 30 seconds of filling it, it would be leaking all over the garage floor. No leaks. Still no leaks. That's what I like. I like when something is successful, namely a car repair. So, get rid of this bungee cord here. Throw this back down there. All right, so that was fixed. I'm gonna put the cap back on the oil cover, and that was it. Another Saturday in the garage. We like easy repairs. Yeah, so thanks for joining me today, and, you know, tune in for the next episode of This Old Jeep.